Well, people don't want to be in the evaluation phase. They want to be in the funded phase, don't they? And I think a lot of traders will trick themselves. They'll say, I'll take a bit more risk on the evaluation phase and then I'll slow it down and calm it down and fund it. But that never usually happens. They usually get drawn into trading exactly the same way. And it can be a pretty toxic cycle because you try and rush your evaluation and end up doing more evaluations before you end up spending more money as well.
Hello traders, welcome back to another We Are Funded Trading Plus podcast. This week we asked our traders, is it possible to pass an evaluation to get a payout in one day, or is this a myth? So in previous episodes, the results have been more skewed, but this one's a little bit tighter, Simon. So 62% of traders said yes, it is possible to pass an evaluation and get a payout in one day, but 38% of traders said no, this is not possible. Before we go into the results, could you just sort of briefly go over the requirements for passing funded valuations here from the Trading Plus?
Yes, we don't have time limits on minimum trading days or minimum trades. I mean, obviously, it comes with an implied sort of understanding that people will be sensible. We don't want people coin flipping over NFP to try and pass. We're not about that, and I don't think any firm is anymore. But it's a case of we allow that option in case people do have a good streak. They might trade their strategy sensibly normally, and they may have many opportunities in one day, and they may want to withdraw in that respect. So we allow them to do that. We don't want to put restrictions on them. But I would say as a general principle that trying to pass in a day, and then withdrawing that day or the next day in a very quick time frame is generally not going to result in a favourable outcome, and most people will fail trying to do that.
Do you see that as a trend that more traders do seem to fail when they're trying to pass and when
they're trying to rush? When they're trying to rush and pass and get paid really, really quickly. It's a case of, as I said this before many times, it's a case of, are you looking just to trade and make money in one day, or are you trying to make money in weeks, months, years, and things like that? So those who rush are the ones who often take the bad opportunities because they're so scared of missing out on a move. They'll chase a move or try and average into a trending market and all those toxic trading behaviours. So yeah, generally speaking, the more successful traders are not the ones trying to rush that quickly.
But have you, as a CEO, seen traders successfully pass these evaluations and actually make some money and get paid out on the first day?
Yeah, it has happened. Like I say, sometimes you do get people who have traded sensibly and just happens to be their day. They may be, trend traders, and the S&P or NASDAQ might be flying up all day, and they're just taking chunks of it and they've done really well. It's a case of they want to put that withdrawal in straight away. So sometimes it just falls that way for people.
So do these traders who do pass in one day, do you think they have any traits in common? Is there anything that you've noticed over the years of seeing traders passing in one day? Do they have any traits in common?
They're generally risking insane amounts in that respect and are looking to punt over news or just looking to do something like that. Some do really, again, some are pretty sensible and some do take little chips of sort of equity and gains and end up putting it all together. But most of the time, people who pass in a day, they're taking on far too much risk.
Do you think social media is impacting the way that traders believe it's possible and achievable to just pass evaluations one day? Because you might have a trader who's failed 10 evaluations but then passes one in one day, or I made 10% one day. And do you think social media has an impact on traders' behaviour when it comes to trading their own accounts?
Well, people don't want to be in the evaluation phase. They want to be in the funded phase, don't they? And I think a lot of traders will trick themselves. They'll say, I'll take a bit more risk on the evaluation phase and then I'll slow it down and calm it down and fund it. But that never usually happens. They usually get drawn into trading exactly the same way. And it can be a pretty toxic cycle because you try and rush your evaluation and end up doing more evaluations before you pass, end up spending more money as well. So I get that people don't want to be stuck on the valuation forever, but again, I would anchor them back down to how long do you want to be trading for, over what's your time frame.
So 38% of traders said no, this is not realistic. That's a good sign, isn't it? That over 1,000 traders have said, look, this is probably...
I'd like it to be more, but yeah, at least there's a good chunk. At least not 7 or 1% or something like that. But no, traders need to be more realistic, and they sound a sensible bunch. We like that 38%.
We like that 38%, yeah. So do you think the evaluations are designed to show a true reflection of a trader's ability, or is there other ways we could potentially measure that?
Well, not really. I mean, people have to sort of be in the market in order to sort of demonstrate the sort of competences. But we have our funded accounts the same as evaluation, so you don't sort of move the goalposts in that respect. I mean, generally speaking, the more time a trader takes and the larger sample of trades you get, the more you can actually see their trading personality and see if it's sort of sustainable or not, rather than just sort of 1 or 2 trades.
And let's be honest, a lot of traders might not have been taught or shown to take their evaluations at a good pace. Is there any advice you can give to traders looking to pass their evaluations in in a really short period of time?
I would say just sort of de-risk, reduce your lot size to maybe a quarter of what it is. Start looking at the less sexy side of trading, the psychology, the logging of trades and things like that. And again, comes back to sort of how long do you want to be in the game trading. You're trying to practice the trading behaviors that are going to be in your trading in 5, 10, 15 years time, or you're going to do the ones that are just a quick punt and trying to get rich quick that isn't really going to be welcome in the funded industry, or certainly is increasing that way.
So how do trading strategies differ from traders who are trading aggressive, trying to pass these accounts quickly, and those who are got a different strategy, who are taking their time more? Is there any differences in the strategies?
We don't generally see a strategy where people are trying to pass really, really quickly because they're sort of going all in long and short, or you certainly can't decipher a strategy. If I've got someone who's taken 50 trades, I can probably look at their accounts and sort of figure out what their trading strategy is, where if it's someone who's got 1 or 2 trades, we've got no idea really.
So what are the potential risks of trying to pass an evaluation in one day?
You end up getting in this cycle where you just keep booming and busting. You're like, you'll see people with sequences of just failing evaluation after evaluation after evaluation. Then eventually they do pass, like blow up a live account, they might get a bit of a withdrawal, but then they just end up in this toxic cycle. Whereas the people who place themselves in the best positions and maybe take an evaluation seriously, if they fail that evaluation, then they go back, review it, and then do change things to be able to pass it, and then they generally keep their funded accounts for a lot longer.
Do you think traders who try and aim to pass evaluations quickly, do you think these traders would trade their own capital the way they're trading these evaluations?
No one's going to risk blowing up their account or losing thousands of dollars like that. So that's one of the downsides of funded trading is people often treat it like it's not their money or not take it seriously.
So we offer payouts from day one and then weekly payouts thereafter. Just sort of maybe touch on like this is how big of an opportunity this is and why it really benefits the traders.
Well, this goes back to when we started Funded Trading Plus. When I was originally been asked to look at trading challenges when I was running our live trade room and things like that, and I was looking at some of the restrictions. The first one that was industry wide at the time back in sort of 2021 was time limits, and the second one was like restricting withdrawals. It's like there's no good reason to restrict someone's withdrawal. If someone passes and wants to get paid, then they should get paid out whenever they want for the first payment. That always seems sensible to me, because the general principle is the longer you make someone wait for a payout, the less likely they are to get payout, because they'll carry on trading and maybe blow up and things like that. Whereas there was no good reason to have that rule, so that's why I don't know if anyone actually does day one payouts. Maybe there's someone who's copied that, but we certainly pioneered it from day one.
Yeah, that's awesome. I've really enjoyed this episode, and I think it's good to see that there's more of a balance between traders who believe it is possible or realistic and those who haven't. So no, really good. Hopefully we can debunk some more myths in future episodes. But for now, that's everything from We Are Funded Trading Plus, the podcast. Stay tuned for the next episode.